Today I'm making a pierogi. Today is the standard pierogi recipe. Today's been called for potato water. If you don't save your potato water, you can use milk and about 2 or 3 eggs, so you can put those right into your flour mixture. You could mix it on the counter, but I do it in the bowl. Whichever way you work with, the Italian method, you can work on it on the counter. And then you're going to be adding a little bit of butter and sour cream into it, and grated cheese, cheddar cheese or mozzarella, or a mixture of both. Typically it calls for farmer's cheese if you get farmer's cheese, but this one calls for grated cheese. And the potato water will work. So make sure you cook your potato water. You need to cook it down for about an hour for the potatoes to soften. You can make this recipe ahead of time. Do the potatoes first or do the dough first, doesn't matter which one. You need to save up potato water. And if you forget to save potato water, you could do milk. So I forgot to save my potato water, so I need to reboil the potatoes, about 3 more potatoes, to get the potato water, because I forgot to save it. I strained it. So I put the egg in, I put the butter, I put the sour cream, I can mix that, and then just add the potato water into it once your second batch cooks. You need to wait about another half hour or so. Grated cheese, if you have cheddar, or if you have cottage cheese on hand, you need to mash it with a little bit of butter, a little bit of sour cream. And you can use this dough all at once, or you could wait. So that's a good thing about this recipe. You could make it, freeze it, not freeze it, but save it in the fridge, and the next day you can make some more, the next day you can make some more. If you don't want to make it all at once, mash it in a little bit. Typically it's with farmer's cheese, but this recipe calls for grated cheese. Put it in while it's warm. Don't put it in while potato cooled. If you have a ricer or a masher, it's a little bit like Italian ravioli, but Polish way. It's a little bit with eggs, a little bit of butter, sour cream. So I just put a little bit of butter into the mash. You can get it for about 4 or 5 people out of this serving. Freeze up about a dozen. And you'll make rounds, little round circles. So it's good to have a pierogi board. It's also, if you have a small counter, you can overhang it, the pierogi board a little bit. If you forget, you can use milk, but this recipe calls for potato water and I forgot it, so I drained it all. I remembered during the video, but then somehow the brain shuts down and you forget. So now the only liquid is the egg. But you can use an extra egg if you want to. 4 eggs doesn't really more flour, more. This will last you a few days. You don't have to make it all in one day. Or just put it in the fridge. Once you form it into a pizza dough, I have to wait for the potato water now to boil again. So you're going to be only using about a handful of potatoes per serving, per circle. So it's not a whole lot. And the extra butter, the extra sour cream helps. I put a little bit of butter and a little bit of sour cream in the potato mixture as well. And I think you can add a little bit of oil if you want in the pierogi filling, so I may do that. I've seen a lot of people adding a little bit of oil into theirs, into their pierogi, so I'll do that. A tablespoon of oil. So I'm changing up the recipe slightly to a little bit modern from what I've seen people adding. Some people add whole eggs, some people add just egg yolks. So it's all really depending on the kind of recipe you're following. This one calls for the potato water, so it's a staple recipe I have. So this is slaughter flour mixture, about 2.5 cups of flour in there. Don't save your potato skins, throw them out, they're not worth anything. Some people think you can eat them, but don't. That's not good for you. I don't think these are edible. Some people think you can eat them. I'm just waiting for have to wait for that to come to a boil now for about a half hour to use it, to mix it. But the filling is done. I just have to wait for that to add into the flour mixture. I could put all this away now. I don't have a whole lot of counter space to work with. Thanks for watching. So I've worked with this recipe before, and I've just improved it. I think I've added the oil, because a lot of pierogi recipes require oil. I don't know how much water I'll need. Depending on the amount of flour, you may need to add a little bit more flour after. Just start scooping it into the center so until it soaks in. And I got enough water in there still for another cup. You can add a little bit of milk if you want to, if you run out of potato water. But this recipe strictly calls for potato water. So it's a full salt recipe from years back, YouTube recipe. So I just included a little bit of oil into it, into the pierogi dough. So I think I improved it slightly from back then. So it's starting to form now. I'll mix a little bit better until it turns into solid dough. Then you can roll it out. And you're going to need some kind of cutter. Either a kind of circle cutter or a cup will do. I use a cup. So you can reuse this recipe dough every couple of days. You don't have to make it all at once. So that's the good thing about it. Just keep it in the fridge next day. Use more. This pierogi board I made, so it's hard to come by a wooden pierogi board. Most of them are plastic now. So let's finish off this recipe. And I had to reboil potatoes because I drained it by mistake. Thanks for watching.